Hare Krishna. So, devotees, if possible, please put on your videos. Mhm. Yes. Why not? So, where are we? Bhagwatam. पहिले 4-5 श्लोक सांगितले होते. फक्त. हो. त्यानंतर टेक्स्टाईल लेक्चर झालं. माझं ते पर्यंत झालंय. 5th का 6th ते ब्राह्मणाचा मुलगा असतो म्हणजे ते यज्ञ प्रकट करतात त्या राक्षसाला इंद्रासोबत 6 कॅन्टो त्याच्यामध्ये 6 कॅन्टो कॅन्टो का तसं ते इंद्रा त्याचा आधी काढला पुढे मीटिंग लगेच मेसेज टाकला ग्रुपला. आता एवढं लवकर ठीक आहे. Okay, Hare Krishna. So let's begin with our study of Srimad Bhagwatam again. So recently there was Mokshada Ekadashi, Gita Jayanti. I hope all the devotees celebrated Gita Jayanti very nicely by remembering Krishna and Arjuna, and also by studying Bhagavad Gita, reciting Shloka, and also by distributing Bhagavad Gita. That's how we can celebrate Bhagavad Gita Jayanti. So we studied Srimad Bhagavatam first few verses. I was going to discuss on a topic which I'm going to discuss tomorrow in Bhagavatam class in Punjivaya temple. So, but then I thought that's brahmachari stuff, so let's not discuss now here. Let's focus on a regular discussion. The verse I'm going to discuss tomorrow in Bhagavatam class is a woman is like a fire and man is like a butter. As soon as a man and woman come in association with each other, the butter melts. And that's why it's very important. The Vedic scriptures recommend that not even next to the mother or a sister one should sit in seclusion. That's a verse for a discussion tomorrow. So what I have prepared is all brahmachari class stuff. But let's have a discussion. That anyway is going to come in our discussion in future. So we saw the first verse in detail of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is can somebody recite first verse? Anybody knows? Anybody has by-hearted the first verse? That's a very important verse at the beginning.
जन्मादेशस्य यथोन्वयादितरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञ स्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मूयन्ति यत्सूरया तेजोवारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि.
Wonderful, very nice. Sadhu, sadhu, Krishna was saying sadhu, sadhu. Mm, good. So this verse is, this verse is also a Gayatri mantra, or this verse is also talking about this verse gives the importance about Krishna's supremacy, how Krishna is Swarata, how Krishna is Abhigya, and there are so many qualities of Krishna are discussed. Satyam Param Dhimahi is talking about the Paramasatya. And who is that Paramasatya? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. That Paramasatya is nothing but the Bhagavan, Vasudev. Vasudev is son of Vasudev. And that is Krishna. And that's how the first verse itself starts talking about the supremacy of Krishna being the supreme personality of Godhead. And that's why for us, Krishna is the supreme person of Godhead, who possesses so many qualities, and who is the Paramasatya, who is the absolute truth. So after understanding that, we also saw the next one, Dharma Projita Kaitavotra Paramo Nirmatsaranam Sata Vedyam Vastava Vastu Shivadam Tapatrayan Moolanam Srimad Bhagavati Mahamunikute Kimva Paredeshwar Sadhyo Ruddha Prithvi Sushrutvi Sakshanat. So this particular verse talks about dharma, and then the dharma projita kaitavatra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. It talks about kaitava dharma. It talks about unwanted, unnecessary religions which have come, and then Srimad Bhagavatam is the one who completely completely destroys all this kaitava dharma, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the one who establishes the Vishuddha Krishna Bhakti in the heart of a person. And this particular scripture is going to remove Trapotrayon Mulanam. It removes all three tapas, the Adi Bhautika Kleshas, Adi Devika Klesha or Adi Atmik Klesha, Trapotrayon Mulanam, Unmulanam. It completely removes, uproots completely. And Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikate Kimva Parejishwara, this particular scripture is written by or compiled by none other than the Maharshi Vyasadeva. And this is how it has come to us, and that's why one should very very eagerly hear this Srimad Bhagavatam. The process of receiving this knowledge is kutuhi sushubhis takshanat. As soon as you understand the importance, or as soon as you come in contact with this particular scripture, you accept it, and the way of acceptance is hearing, and how you should hear takshanat. Kutuhi sushu takshanat. One should be enthusiastically hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's very important thing, that with the high concentration and with enthusiasm, one should accept this particular scripture by hearing, by the process of hearing. And he should establish the Srimad Bhagavatam in his heart. That's a very, very important thing. And then after understanding, the Prabhupada talks a lot in the purport about this. And the Prabhupada immediately talks about dharma and how there are different Kaitava dharmas. There are unwanted religions which have come. Basically, it is a concoction. Because of this concoction, how there is so much of disturbance in the society. And it is Srimad Bhagavatam who can establish the real religion, and it will establish the peace in the heart of everyone. And that's why we should wholeheartedly, enthusiastically start hearing Srimad Bhagavatam enthusiastically. After explaining that, then we understand that this particular Srimad Bhagavatam is nothing but it is a ripened fruit. It is a very tasty ripened fruit, and it has become much more tasty because it is tasted by none other than Sukadeva Goswami. And because Sukadeva Goswami who tasted this particular Srimad Bhagavatam, it has become more tastier. Like, Prabhupada gives the example of a parrot or any other bird touching, eating some fruits, and those fruits becomes very, sweet, and they are easily ripened. Those devotees who stayed in village can understand. अगर गोवा जो होता है पेरू, it becomes very sweet as soon as the parrot eats some part of the peru. It becomes very sweet and it's easily ripened. So similarly, the Srimad Bhagavatam, Nigama Kalpatar Galitam Phalam, Shukamukadam Brutadravya Sayutam, Vivata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam, Guraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. So this is the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's tested. It is coming out from the lips of Sukadeva Goswami. So who is Sukadeva Goswami? Hare Krishna. Ah, So this Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very special. And this is coming out of the mouth of Sukadeva Goswami. And Sukadeva Goswami is, further we are going to study about who is Sukadeva Goswami and how we'll understand how, this particular Srimad Bhagavatam has come from the great personality. So when Parikshit Maharaj, he received this curse that within 7 days and 7 nights he will die because of because of whatever offenses he's created. Shungi got offended, Shungi cursed him, and then after 7 days he was supposed to die. Then he went to Hastinapur. No, he left Hastinapur and he went to Ganges. So there's an interesting discussion which comes about this, that Parikshit Maharaj, he went to Ganges or Yamuna, because nowadays Hastinapur is in Delhi, and what Yamuna flows from the Delhi, right? So how it is Hastinapur? So this particular thing is very nicely explained by Srila Prabhupada in this in Krishna book. Anybody knows where Prabhupada talks about it in Krishna book? Harshpo, you recently read Krishna book. Do you know? Harsh, you read
Bro, what was the question? Like, I just
question
joined right now.
is that the Hastinapur, that is current Delhi, is next to Yamuna. Yamuna flows from it. But then the discussion comes in Srimad Bhagavatam that he left Hastinapur and immediately went to Ganga. Or there is one more discussion which comes where Prabhupada talks about it, that that this is Ganga, what Yamuna we are talking. So do anybody knows that where Prabhupada talks about it? Harshu, I was asking you that you read Krishna book recently.
No, Prabhuji, sorry, I don't know.
Anybody else?
Is it something related to Budi Ganga something? I've just heard it somewhere.
Is it something related to what?
Budi Ganga, like I've just
Budi Ganga.
heard it
Okay.
somewhere.
No, I never heard about it. Okay. So Prabhupada talks about this in Balramji's Leela, when Balramji, when the Krishna's son, I think it is Samba, who got married to Duryodhana's daughter, and then they kidnapped Samba, and then after they captured Samba and they put Samba in the jail, and then all the Yadu dynasty became very offended. They became they said, "Arey, what is this? How can they do this?" And then Balramji said, "Okay, wait, let me go, and I'll peacefully resolve this." And then Balramji goes there, and then they respectfully receives Balramji. But after receiving Balramji respectfully, when the discussion comes of releasing Samba, they do not. They said, "No, we will not do this." And then they start criticizing, all the Yadu dynasty. And because of this, the criticism of Yadu dynasty, Balramji becomes very angry. And then Balramji comes out, and then he takes out his flow, and then he pulls Yamuna. Sorry, he pulls Hastinapur. He drags Hastinapur into Yamuna. So there Prabhupada says this Yamuna is nothing but the Ganga, and then Ganga is flowing from the same part, but because this particular area of Hastinapur, it is called as Yamuna, and this is Yamuna which is flowing. Prabhupada says that. And then again further in the next paragraph only Prabhupada talks about it. Prabhupada says that the slope of Hastinapur, the river which is flowing next to the slope of Hastinapur is Ganga. And that's how the particular Leela of Balramji dragging her Hastinapur is into Ganga, Prabhupada says. Anyways, so this is ultimately, if you go to Uttarakhand, where there is Gangotri, Yamunotri, there's Ugamsthan of Yamuna, which is different, Ugamsthan of Ganga, which is different. But ultimately, everything becomes one, and they become like a Ganga only. And then that's why there is understanding. So some devotees say that it is Yamuna only. Some devotees, like Prabhupada is explaining, that she is Yamuna, she is called as the Yamuna, because Yamuna came to perform Leela with Krishna. But also, she is also called as Ganga. She's also Ganga. She's a tributary of Ganga, Prabhupada says, this particular thing. Why did I come here? So the point is, here, Parikshit Maharaj came to the bank of Ganga, and then after coming here, there were many sages who were sitting there. There was not only one sage, there were so many sages who were sitting there. So those sages were very special. There was this particular sixth chapter, in seventh or eighth chapter, we are going to study more about it. how there were so many great sages present at the assembly, and then these great sages are they're very special. Prabhupada talks about it in the sixth chapter of this first canto only. Prabhupada talks about many sages. There's a description which comes, which when the Bhishma Dev is departing from this planet. So that time, so many sages were assembled, and then Prabhupada talks about the qualification of one sage. Prabhupada talks about Parvata Muni. Prabhupada talks about Narada Muni. Prabhupada talks about so many sages. Similarly, all these sages were also present in that assembly. But when Parishad Maharaj came there, and Parishad Maharaj asked these sages that, please tell me what I should do when a person is departing from this particular world. What is his duty? And that time Sukadev Goswami comes there. And as soon as Sukadev Goswami comes there, everybody writes, everybody gets up. They welcome Sukadev Goswami. And they ask Sukadev Goswami, who is just 16-year-old boy, who is a very effulgent, very special boy, and who comes, and they ask him to sit on the Vyasasana. And he sits on the Vyasasana, who just heard from his father the Srimad Bhagavatam, and then who comes and Parishad Maharaj asks him a question, and then the Srimad Bhagavatam is given to everyone. So this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is heard by Sukadev Goswami, by his father, that is Vyasadeva, and then Sukadev Goswami starts narrating, and because this particular Amrita, Bhagavata Amrita, which is coming out of the mouth of Sukadev Goswami, and that's why Sukadev Goswami has made this much more tastier. And that's why Prabhupada talks about parampara in this particular purport, how parampara is very important. Without parampara, if we are trying to gain the knowledge of on our own, we will not understand, or it will not have a meaning. So because this has come into the parampara, this knowledge is very special, and then only we can understand. Another topic, another very important thing which comes into this verse is Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavika. So this particular fruit is a very sweet. It has rasa. Anything which has rasa, it becomes tasty. Unless and until there is no rasa, there is no taste, basically. And that's why in devotional service, rasa is also very important. Many times people, because they don't understand what is the melo or rasa, they just focus on tattva, and then their life becomes very dry. And sometimes people are just interested in rasa, and they're hardly interested in tattva, and that's why that goes very wrong. So that's why there has to be a balance of both, and that's why Srimad Bhagavatam is balance of both rasa and tattva. And this is a very tasty rasa, and that's why Prabhupada is talking about different kinds of rasa which a devotee can have with Krishna. And there are 12 kinds of rasa which devotee can have with Krishna. Anybody knows which are those 12 rasas which we can have with this person of Godhead? How many of, like, there are 5 prominent rasas which everybody knows,
Yes,
right?
Prabhu.
Which are those? Yes.
5
Rishikesh?
prominent are Madhurya, Sakhya, Dasya, and Vatsalya,
Sham.
Shanta. These are 5 mean, and 7 subordinate.
There are 5
Rudra,
rasas and there are 7
like
secondary rasas. Which are those?
Rudra, there's Rudra Ras, there's Veera Ras, there's Shringar, and
What?
Rodra.
Rudra I've said, like Rudra, Veer, Shringar,
Adbhuta,
Bibhatsa,
Adbhuta also. All the Narsimha wala
Adbhut,
rasas.
Hmm.
Adbhut.
Hmm.
Bibhatsa is there, and more to our left.
Veera, Veera, not Veera. Heroism, I think.
Veera is done, like
I
So
heard
there is
Veera
Raudra.
and Rudra.
There is Raudra Ras. Raudra is Krodha. Then there is Adbhuta. Adbhuta is Ashcharya. Then there is Shringara Ras. Then there is Hasya Ras. Then there is Veera Ras. There is Daya. Daya is also one of the rasa. Then there is Bhayanaka. Then there is Vibhatsa. These are the 7 secondary rasas. Raudra, Adbhuta, then Hasya, Virya, Daya, Bhayanaka, Vibhatsa. Okay. Daya. Daya is Karuna rasa. Daya is also called as the Karuna rasa. So Prabhupada talks about this total 12 rasas. There are these 12 rasas which Krishna experienced with his devotees. So these Virya ras, that the chivalrous, he wanted to fight, and that's why he cursed Jay and Vijay, and then he exchanged those rasas with them. So he has to exchange Hasya rasa, and there is different way of Leela which he performs with his devotee. But these 12 rasas are performed with devotees. That's a very important thing. So Prabhupada talks about it also. And that's how the third word is also very, very interesting and important. Please buy these 3 verses of Srimad Bhagwatam. They're very important. And then Prabhupada, then the further discussion comes about how in this Naimisharanya, is this particular discussion is happening now in Naimisharanya. So Srimad Bhagwatam, we discussed about it. This is a discussion between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. It was heard by whom?
Other sages.
Other
Sutta
sages.
Goswami and
Heard by other sages where Sutta Goswami was sitting. And then Sutta Goswami started narrating this to who?
Shaunakadi Rishis.
Shaunakadi Rishi. So that's what we'll see in the 4th verse. Naimishe Nimisha Kshetre Rushaya Shaunakadaya Satram Sarvaya Lokaya Sahastra Samamasata. One day that in the Naimisharanya, the Pavitra study of Naimisharanya. So Naimisharanya is close to Ayodhya, and this particular discussion between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj happened, which is close to it is in between Haridwar to Delhi. It comes in between that particular place. What is that called? It is Naimisharanya, and that is what is it?
then
No, not Dandakaranya. Come on. Arey, how can I forget this? Where was Srimad Bhagavatam born? Arey, it's a nice place. Sukatal. Sukatal is the place. That's called Sukatal. So this Sukatal is in between Rishikesh and Haridwar to Delhi. In between there is a nice place, Sukatal. I got opportunity to visit there. And Naimisharanya is a place near, it is between Ayodhya and Prayagraj. This particular place. So in this Naimisharanya, in this one, Nimishe Nimisha Kshetre Rushaya Shaunakadaya. So there was a Rishis, Shaunaka Rishis were sitting there. And then the Shaunaka Rishis were, they performed a yajna, they performed a tapasya for the pleasure of Krishna. And there was a big, huge yajna which was performed. And these Shaunaka Rishis, they start asking question to Sutta Goswami. And those Sutta Goswami, when they ask these questions, there are these 6 questions which are asked by Shaunaka Rishis to Sutta Goswami. And those 6 questions are discussed in the first chapter of this particular Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Can somebody read the translation of the 4th verse?
Once in a holy place in the forest of Naimisharanya, great sages headed by the sage Shaunaka assembled to perform a great 1,000-year sacrifice for the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees.
Good. Verse number 5. Ta ekada tu munayaha pratah huta hutagrayah sakrutam sutam asinam yat pushya idam adarat. Please read the translation.
One day, after finishing their morning duties by burning a sacrificial fire and offering a seat of esteem to Srila Sutta Goswami, the great sages made inquiries with great respect about the following matters.
So great respect is very important. They did a great inquiries. Athato Brahma Jigyasa is very important, that we should inquire about Brahma, the absolute truth. That's very important. Unfortunately, we have Athato Bhayankara Jigyasa. So let's not do Athato Bhayankara Jigyasa. The Bhayankara Jigyasa is of anything. Anything means anything. wherever we are. I was recently in Vrindavan and happened to talk to some Matajis there, and then we were discussing about something of, we visited some holy place in that particular place, and then we were discussing about it. And then suddenly, you will see in Vrindavan, monkeys always do something. They are always creating something, some disturbance. And this lady started talking about monkeys, and they started inquiring like anything about monkeys. I said, we are in Prem Sarovar. There's nothing to do with these monkeys and their prema. why are you discussing about it? Stop your Bhayankar jigyas. It's just like, why this monkey, from where these monkeys have come, why these monkeys do this, and then what kind of training these people are giving to these monkeys. These brothers, I said, stop, you are doing Bhayankar jigyasa, which is not required. Let's do about a Brahma jigyasa. We are in such a holy place. Let's do a Brahma jigyasa. So that's why this is very important that there are great inquiries. The great inquiry is about, we'll see those 6 questions which are very, very important. And then with a great respect, the inquiries are required. Inquiry about the absolute truth is very much required. When you are doing Adhato Brahma Jigyasa, it has to be done with the great respect. So, which verse in Bhagavad Gita talks about receiving knowledge?
तद्विधि प्रणिपातेन परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्षन्ति ज्ञानं ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः.
So, what is the important teaching from this verse, Rishikesh?
Surrendering to Guru the first Tadvidhi Pranipat, that is the most important thing. And then asking questions inquisitively.
And
Pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam, and then accepting the knowledge as it is, not by our own speculation or
rendering service to spiritual master is very important. That's the third point. The vidhi is surrender, inquiry, and rendering service. Rendering service to a spiritual master. So these both the aspects, the tadvidhi and rendering service to a spiritual master talks about humility. And without a humility, we cannot receive a knowledge. And that's why this particular humility is very important. And that's why whenever we are approaching a spiritual master, or whenever we are trying to receive a knowledge, that has to be done with the humility and with the great respect. That's very, very important. Please read the last paragraph of this particular purport. Fifth purport.
Those who listen to the Bhagavatam may put questions to the speaker in order to elect the clear meaning, but this should not be done in a challenging spirit. One must submit questions with a great regard for the speaker and the subject matter. This is also the way recommended in Bhagavad Gita. One must learn the transcendental subject of submissive oral reception from the right sources. Therefore, these sages address the speaker, Suta Goswami, with great respect.
Rishuvacha Tvaya Khalu Puranaani Etihasani Chanaka Akhyatani Api Adhitani Dharma Shastrani Yanto Yanyato. Yes, please read the translation.
The
Ajay Guru?
sages said,
Okay.
Respected Suta Goswami, you are completely free from all vice. You are well versed in all the scriptures famous for religious life and in the Puranas and the histories as well. For you have gone through them under proper guidance and have also explained them.
The qualities of a Suta Goswami are being discussed here. How Suta Goswami was very special. So the Tvaya Khalu Puranani Aitihasani Chanagha, that you have heard this knowledge, and it is a historical thing, and you've not only heard, you are very expert in Vedic scriptures. Further qualities are very nicely explained, that you are nishpapa, anagha, cha anagha, and you are completely nishpapa. That you don't have anagha. Anagha means there is no papa in your heart. So that is a special quality of a Sukadeva Goswami. So in fact, here and then further also there will be discussion about a person sitting on a Vyasasan, and he should possess the qualities. Person sitting on a Vyasasan should have a quality, and that's why the devotees, when they sit on a Vyasasan, they repeat this particular thing, that I will represent parampara, and also I will speak which is befitting to the Vyasasana. So Vyasasana is not something which is should be taken cheaply, or it's not a chair where anybody can go and sit. That has to be respected very much. For by respected by a Shrota and Vakta both. That's very important. And Vakta should also try to possess a good qualities which are expected, or which are very much needed. Those qualities of a Sutta Goswami are basically these rishis, Shonaka rishis. They are glorifying that how you are chanagha, that you are completely nishpapa. Then further akhyatani, that you have studied this Vedic knowledge, this particular knowledge. Not only studied, you have explained also this particular knowledge. So akhyan, vyakhyan dete jo hote hain, akhyan hota hai. So akhyatani is the word that you have explained this particular knowledge, and cha adhitani, that you have all not only explained, you have accepted also, you have absorbed also, you have studied also this particular. Adhitani मतलब अभ्यास केलेला आहे बेसिकली, तुला धारण किया हुआ है उस चीज को, अध्ययन किया हुआ है. अधितानी is अध्ययन करना, that he has studied this particular knowledge also very nicely. Dharma Shastrani, this particular Dharma Shastra, he has completely very enthusiastically accepted. So this is very important. Just randomly going and sitting and explaining is not a very good thing. Person should study this particular knowledge, and he should have an experience of discussion about this particular knowledge. And when he's done that, that's only any orator can do that, or any scholarly person can do that. So that is not sufficient. That has to be anagha. That person has to be nishpapa. He should be completely free from all the vices. He should be pure in his heart. That's very important. So this is also a qualification of a person given, that he should not have any durguna. He should have all savuna, that all good qualities he should possess, not the bad qualities. That's very important. Please read that purport.
A Goswami, or the bona fide representative of Sri Vyasadeva, must be free from all kinds of vices. The four major vices of Kali Yuga are: first, illicit connection with women; second, animal slaughter; third, intoxication; and fourth, speculative gambling of all sorts. A Goswami must be free from all these vices before he can dare sit on the Vyasasana. No one should be allowed to sit on the Vyasasana who is not spotless in character and who is not freed from the above mentioned vices. He not only should be freed from all such vices, but must also be well versed in all the revealed scriptures or in the Vedas. The Puranas are also parts of the Vedas, and histories like the Mahabharata or Ramayana are also parts of the Vedas. The the Acharya or the Goswami must be well acquainted with all these literatures. To hear and explain them is more important than reading them. One can assimilate the knowledge of the revealed scriptures only by hearing and explaining. Hearing is called Shravan, and explaining is called Kirtan. The two processes of Shravan and Kirtan are of primary importance to progressive spiritual life. Only one who has properly grasped the transcendental knowledge from the right source by submissive hearing can properly explain the subject.
So it's easy to understand, and that's why it's very important that we don't go and hear anybody and everybody. We should actually the in the beginning we have discussed about this also in beginning studies of your Krishna consciousness, the qualification of a spiritual master and qualification of a disciple also. In that we have very clearly seen that a qualification of spiritual master is that he knows Krishna very well, he's absorbed in Krishna, and he can give Krishna. That's the qualification of spiritual master which is discussed. Similarly, when we are hearing a katha, Krishna katha, it should not be a random person who is also speaking. Like there are many YouTubers nowadays who are also speaking about Krishna, and then we get mesmerized. Oh, this guy knows about Krishna and he's speaking so much about Krishna. But then at the same time, he's also speaking about something nonsense, and he's criticizing someone, or he's finding fault, or he's also eventually trapped into something wrong. So that's not a person to whom we should hear. We should hear from a very right authorized person who is absorbed in Krishna. That's very important. So Akhyatani and Adhitani are very important words here, that he has studied scriptures very nicely, and just studied, not studied, he has explained all those scriptures nicely. The underlying message here is that he has not only studied, he has not only explained, he has practiced the scriptures very nicely. That's very important. So that's why we should hear this particular holy Srimad Bhagavatam from a person who has practiced Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely. This scripture is a scripture which talks about a loving relationship between Krishna and devotees, and that can be experienced by the practice of Krishna consciousness. So, a person who has practiced Krishna consciousness seriously can be free from all the vices, all the dirt from his heart, and then that is the right person to talk about it. If he's otherwise, if he randomly hear from anyone, I recently was scrolling, somebody showed me about someone, and then I happened to scroll, and then YouTube has that facility. And you start scrolling nonsense, you will obviously get nonsense. So I found there were at least 7 to 8, pant shirt and varieties of the mustache beard people. Not only mustache beard or pant shirt. Okay, that's okay, understood. But then they started talking about, they always want to talk about some controversy. So there was this controversy. He was talking about Ram eating flesh. And then he was started explaining that Ramayana में ऐसा हुआ था, वाल्मीकि ऋषि ऐसे कहते हैं. And then he's talking about different varieties. And there are n number of Ramayans. There are so many Ramayans, Kamba Ramayana and this Valmiki Ramayana, Tulsidas, and so many things he was quoting. He's quoting something from Tulsidas. He was trying to establish the supremacy of Lord Ram, but then he could not convince in the whole discussion how Lord Ram did not eat meat. And then he went on explaining that Kshatriya ka ye duty hota hai. So he was knowing about Varnashrama, he was knowing about, but then he could not establish this fact that no, Lord Ram did not eat meat. And then he was found confused. Or there's this famous Baba who does not know anything about philosophy, and then he's for him Shiva is supreme. Okay, understood. Somebody who is practicing a spirituality who understand that Shiva is the supreme Lord. But then, how is the Supreme Lord? Why is the Supreme Lord? And then, what is his teaching? What is the philosophy? What is the process to be followed? He is not clear about anything. And then, he just because he has a Vaka Shakti, he is expert. So, there are many people who have good Vaka Shakti. Vaka Shakti is the ability to speak. And because of this ability to speak, somebody can speak or narrate nicely. That does not make him a anagha nishpapa, and that does not make him a perfect person to sit on a rasas. That's very important. That's why person who is free from at least these 4 things, that he's free from illicit sex, intoxication, and gambling, and no meat eating. At least he should be free from these 4 things. And then there's this what is this like who fought with Vivek Bindra. He was also speaking Maheshwari, Sandeep Maheshwari. He was also speaking a lot about from Bhagavad Gita, and he used to quote Bhagavad Gita and so much. And he became one of the very famous motivational speaker at one time. But this guy was also found doing something wrong. He was doing financial frauds, and then he also what is exposed or whatever Vivek Bindra and so many things back and forth, all competition. The point is that a person who is speaking of Srimad Bhagavatam, and then honestly, we should also understand and accept ourselves also. That am I free from these things? Am I still interested in these things? If I'm still interested in these things, I should stay away. I should first progress. I should first try to purify myself, and then go and sit on assessment. That's very important. Otherwise, just to become famous, just to show something, that's not very right habit. Anyway, so here the point which is glorified by Shonaka the Rishis about Sutta Goswami, that he is Anagha, Akhyatani, and Adhitani.
True.
Hmm.
And the sages mentioned two personalities, Sukadeva Goswami and Sudha Goswami. These two are different personalities.
Yes, Sukadeva Goswami is different, Sutta Goswami is different. Sukadeva Goswami spoke to Parikshit Maharaj, where in that assembly Sutta Goswami was sitting. Sutta Goswami heard from Sukadeva Goswami, and then later on, Sutta Goswami started narrating the whole Bhagavatam to Shonaka Rishis. So the Bhagavatam it began with Sukadeva Goswami Parikshit Maharaj, it was heard by Sutta Goswami, and there's a discussion between Sutta Goswami and Shonaka Rishi. And the whole Bhagavatam is, many places we'll see that Shonaka Rishi is asking a question, Sutta Goswami is answering. Or further also there is multiple discussions which comes in between. Okay, next verse. या निवेदवितां श्रेष्ठो भगवान् बादरायणः अन्येत्र मुनया सूत परावरविदो विदु. Please read the translation. Anybody?
Being the eldest learned Vedantist, O Sutta Goswami, you are acquainted with the knowledge of Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of Godhead. And you also know other sages who are fully versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge.
Mhm. So Sutta Goswami, you are Veda Vidam Srishta, that you are expert in Vedas. You are Srishta. So the definition of Srishta is very important. Where this word Srishta comes in Bhagavad Gita? Anywhere it comes, this particular word Srishta.
Yadyadacharati shrestha
Yadyadacharati Shrestha.
Ustate vitarojana.
Pandita, sadhu, sadhu. यदि यद आचरिति श्रेष्ठ तत्तस्तेवे तरोजना सयत प्रमाण कुरुते लोकस्तद अनुवर्तते. That यदि यद आचरति श्रेष्ठ, whatever a Sreshta does. Sreshta means one who is expert, one who is great. So Arjuna was that Sreshta. Arjuna was seen. This is a great personality to be followed. Yadi yad आचरति श्रेष्ठ तत्तस्तेवे तरोजना. Whatever the Sreshta person does, similarly the common man follows. Sayat pramanam kuruto, that he becomes the example, he becomes a pramana, he becomes an authenticity. And then Sayat pramanam kuruto, whatever pada, tastasdeve tarojana. That that's how the common people will follow that as a pramana. So if some great personality comes and says that that Krishna does not exist, this is all mythology. So there are a number of people who will say, this is mythology. You search Google, anything in Google about Krishna, Radha, or anything, the first word of this is explained in the mythology of Vedic Hindu religion.
According to Indian mythology.
Yeah, according to Indian
These are the
mythology.
exact terms.
Yeah. So, and then there are thousands of people who say, this is mythology. So this is the unfortunate situation. The person who is called as Sreshta. So proper translates it very nicely. That Sreshta is Vayogruddha and Jnanavruddha. So this is what is very important. So person who is Sreshta is accepted by two things. That person who has, who is Vayogruddha. Vruddha means old because of the age. Like somebody who will live for 70 years. This is 70 saal ka anubhav hai. He has the experience of 70 years and he has seen, at least, so many seasons, different seasons. And he has seen so many people and he has seen so many things in the world. And that's why he has, because of this being Vayogruddha, he has this knowledge or expertise or experience or whatever he has gone through his life. So he has learned through age. There is another person who is Jnanavruddha. Person who may be young, like our Amarendra Prabhu. He's young, but then he's knowledgeable. And he has studied so much. Like, there was this devotee who used to come to, he came to Pune some days. I will not quote his name. Eventually, he came up with some philosophy, but he was just 16-year-old boy. He was very effulgent, very, very powerful, effulgent boy. And when he used to speak, half of the crowd did not understand what he's speaking. Because maximum word, his Hindi was so pure, and there were so many Sanskrit words that half of the crowd did not understand what he spoke. And then he used to quote so many Goswamis, so many literature, so many things that he was like, people were mesmerized. And then, people were like ready to follow him and offer obeisances. And they accepted him as a Jnanavruddha. So there is a person who is a Jnanavruddha, the person who is a Vayogruddha. So sometimes somebody is not having a elderly age, but still because of the knowledge, he is respected. That's why this Sreshta, he is both. So Sutta Goswami is what? Sutta Goswami is Itihasani. The previous word comes that he has seen in Itihas the whole history. And here also they are saying that Veda Vidam, you are expert in Vedas, Sreshta, that you are not only Jnanavruddha or not only Vayogruddha, you are Vayogruddha also and Jnanavruddha also. You are expert in knowledge also. You have studied this knowledge very nicely. And also you have experience of life also. And because of that, you become a Sreshta. Yani Veda Vidam Sreshto, Bhagavan Badarayana. How? Because you have received this knowledge by the mercy of Badarayana. That because of the mercy of Vyasadeva, we have received this knowledge. Anne cha munaya suta paravaro vido. That you know Anya cha munaya suta. You also know many other rishis and munis that are very powerful people. What is the difference? What is the meaning of muni? Anybody knows?
One who contemplates.
Okay.
One who practices more.
One who practices mauna is muni. Okay. Then that is Mauni Baba. That's not Muni. Okay. One who contemplates or one who speculates. Person who speculates is called as a Muni. So speculation is the right thing, but that speculation should not be a dry speculation. That speculation should not be a mental speculation. So that's why those people who study scripture very nicely and then they ask questions, they are inquisitive, and then they try to present their views on that particular point, they are right. They're not wrong. And that's why acharyas, when they give different commentaries on the same verse, different acharyas, yes, they are presenting their munis and they are presenting their particular view on that particular thought, a particular thing. So Muni who speculates, but then he is in line. His speculation or his thought process is in the line, parampara. It is not just going randomly here and then. He's not just speculating anything and everything. So Muni is also a person who speculates, and then speculation in the right direction is appreciated. Anyways, Annecha Munaya Suta Paravara Vido Vido. That you know any other rishis who also knows about this whole material existence or who knows about this Vedic knowledge. So you know the scripture, you are old person, old in the sense you are Sreshta, you are very expert, you do have the knowledge also, you have the experience of the life also, you are expert in Vedas also, and that's why please explain this particular, you know, we basically they're appreciating him so that he can explain the questions, he can answer the questions. Please read the purport, few lines of the purport. All complete, read the complete purport. It's a short purport. Rohan, do you have Bhagavatam with you?
No, Prabhu. नहीं होते. Yep.
Narayana, can you read? Or you're driving? Okay. Read anyone. Rishikesh, read.
Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural comment. Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentation on the
Are you in,
Brahma Sutra. Okay.
are you in hospital?
नाही हॉस्टेलमध्ये आहे.
Acha, acha. Looks like some, wires, ventilator.
हो ते
Actually,
एकच जाखेत असल्यामुळे
we are on ventilator. Somehow we are not realizing it. Okay, please go ahead.
Vedant Sutras. It is called natural because Ved Vyasa is author of both the Vedant Sutras and Srimad Bhagavatam, are the essence of all Vedic literatures. Besides Ved Vyas, there are other sages who are the authors of 6 different philosophical systems, namely Gautama, Kanada, Kapil, Patanjali, Jaimini, and Ashtavakra. Theism is explained completely in the Vedanta Sutra, whereas in other systems of philosophical speculations, practically no mention is given to the ultimate cause of all causes. One can sit on the Vyasasan only after being conversant in all systems of philosophy so that one can present fully the theistic views of the Bhagavatam in the defense of all other systems. Srila Suta Goswami was the proper teacher and therefore the sage of Naimisharanya elevated him to the Vyasasan. Srila Vyasadeva is designated herein as the personality of Godhead because he is the authorized, empowered incarnation.
So this is how the glorification of Sutta Goswami continues. Verse number 8. Anybody has any question till now?
हा एक क्वेश्चन होता की हाऊ इंटरचेंजेबली द वर्ड ऋषी and the word muni can be used कारण की both of these words have been used in Bhagavatam in a specific way. So what is the proper way to use these both words? कारण की गजेंद्र मोक्ष स्तुतीमध्ये ऋषभ पदम विदुर आणि मुनियर सुसाधव असे 2 वेळा इंटरचेंजेबली येतात. So
Hmm.
how appropriate is the word Muni to be used? And same for like, Rishi.
And this particular thing is very nicely explained by Prabhupada in this particular discussion, where Vishnudev's Mahanirvana has been discussed. The Vishnudev's departure is discussed. I exactly don't remember, but Prabhupada explains about it. I'll go through it and tell you. Prabhupada talks about the difference between Rishi, Muni, and one more thing Prabhupada talks about. There are three meanings which Prabhupada talks about indifferently. That's given in this particular purport discussion, where Prabhupada is talking about different rishis, and then who is called Rishi, who is called Muni, and who is called Sadhu or somebody. That is explained there. I'll go through it. Okay.
And also for for one being Vaishnava, is it necessary for him to be a Rishi or Muni or etc. etc.?
So the qualification with Prabhupada, what I roughly remember, is that the qualification of a Rishi, Muni, or Sadhu, which is explained by these three different categories. Basically, a Vaishnava is above all this. That's what Prabhupada writes there. And, Vaishnava is above Rishi, Muni, Sadhus, all of them. And because he's always meditating, or he's there, or his goal is to attain Krishna, or Krishna is, he knows it very well that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he always follows the process of Bhakti Yoga, and that's why Vaishnava is much more superior. Also, that Prabhupada writes there. But then Rishi, the qualification of Rishi and Muni are also seen in devotees, Vaishnava. So he's a Vaishnava also, Sadhu also, Rishi also. That's not much difference. But then Vaishnava is much more superior, Prabhupada said there. Okay. Anybody else? Narayana, you want to ask something?
No, Guruji.
Okay. Let's read verse number 8. Vethyatvam saumya tat sarvam tat tatvats anugrahat bruhu snigdhasya shishyasya guru guhyat guhyam guhyam apyuta. Please read the translation.
And because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them.
Hmm. Saumya is a very nice word. Snigdhasya is also another very important quality. Snigdha is what is the material, what is that particular thing which is snigdha? Or the snigdha is used for what? Here snigdha is written as submissiveness, but then this word snigdha can be much more easily understood. Everybody loves to eat butter. Hmm. This butter is snigdha, loni jo hota hai. That is the quality of a butter is snigdha. It's very swiftly flowing, or it's very soft. So similarly, the snigdha, the quality of a devotee, is that he's very soft-hearted. So that's why one of the very important quality of a devotee is that snigdha. So here he's not just said that he's humble, that with tvam saumyam, that is, you are very saumyam is pavitra, or you are very simple. At the same time, he is very snigdha, he's very soft-hearted, he's very easily malleable, and that's why this is one of the quality of a devotee. And here the qualification is further explained that he is very simple, he is very humble, he is very malleable, he's very submissive. And because you have heard from your spiritual master submissively, because of his mercy, you can you have studied and described this particular scripture many times. Further, please read the purport. Rishikesh Pawar. He doesn't have Bhagwatam. Okay. Rishikesh, please read.
Uh, the secret of success in spiritual life is in satisfying the spiritual master and thereby getting his sincere blessings. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has sung in the famous 8 stanzas on the spiritual master as follows: I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master. Only by his satisfaction can one please the personality of Godhead, and when he is dissatisfied, there is only havoc on the path of spiritual realization. It is essential, therefore, that a disciple be very much obedient and submissive to the bona fide spiritual master. Srila Sutta Goswami fulfilled all these qualifications as a disciple, and therefore he was endowed with all favors by his learned and self-realized spiritual master, such as Srila Vyasdev and others. The sages of Naimisharanya were confident that Srila Sutta Goswami and Srila Sutta Goswami was bona fide. Therefore, they were anxious to hear from him.
Shlok number 9. Tatra 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 ajyasa ayushmana bhavata yadi nishchitam pumsam ekantarattah shreya tatra shasutam tatra shamsisitum arhasi. So here further qualities of a Sutta Goswami are mentioned, that you are, Dirghayushi, that Ayushmana, that you have attained a very long life. Ayushmana Bhava, that please attain, have a long life. That is the blessing which is given. So he's received a long life. Not only that, he's Bhavataha, that he's blessed. He's very much blessed. He's very much respected, and that's this. Somebody goes for begging, and he says Bhavatam Bhiksham Dehi, and that's very respectful of calling, oh mother, please give me, or Bhavataha Bhiksham Dehi, that oh dear father, please give me a Bhiksha, or to a man and to a woman. There are different ways of calling, but that's a way of calling it very respectful. Similarly, here also he said that you are very much respectable. You have a long life, and you are the one who can remove all the confusions from the heart. You can some shirutam, that you can remove all the doubts, and you can explain us this particular thing very nicely, that you have attained this yogyata arhasi samshrutam arhasi. That means you have attained this expertise yogyata, because you are the one who can remove doubts and establish this particular knowledge very nicely. So after saying this, that this particular glorification, then there will be discussion, that they'll start asking you questions. Please read the translation and purport. Harsh.
Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. In Bhagavad Gita, worship of the Acharya is recommended. The Acharyas and Goswamis are always absorbed in thought of the well being of the general public, especially their spiritual well being. Spiritual well being is automatically followed by material well being. The Acharyas therefore give directions in the spiritual well being for people in general, forcing the incompetence of the people in this age of Kali or the iron age of quarrel. The sages requested the Sutta Goswami give a summary of all revealed scriptures because the people of this age are condemned in every respect. The sages therefore inquired of the absolute good, which is the ultimate good for the people. The condemned state of affairs of the people of this age is described as follows.
So they, after glorifying Sutta Goswami, or after glorifying his special qualities, so these Shonaka Rishis will talk about the age of Kali, and then they start discussion about the questions. So that we'll see later. But then I request everyone to please try to understand these qualities of Sutta Goswami. Can somebody repeat me the qualities of Sutta Goswami? Which are the qualities which are being discussed here of Sutta Goswami? Is Shrestha, is Vayavruddha and Jnanavruddha. Okay. The quality is explained as the Shrestha. The quality is not specifically mentioned here, is Vayavruddha, Jnanavruddha, this Vruddha, that Vruddha. The quality explained is Shrestha.
Yes.
Snigdha, submissive.
Snigdhascha, submissive, malleable. Saumya, very good. And
Excellent memory.
Excellent memory, where it is written?
No, like I was
Wants to have
thinking
that.
of something else.
Rishikesh wants to have
Okay,
this
okay.
one. Okay.
He has actually read it and understood it.
Akhyatani Chaditani is the one who has spoken about it, and he's the one who has studied this very nicely. Adhyan and Akhyana, these two things he has done.
He's following.
Free from all vices.
What is that? What is mentioned Sanskrit word for that?
Anagha. 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 Anagha.
Another is very important. He is Nishpapa. He's free from all the vices. Okay, and अरे अभी अभी डिस्कस किया मेरे भाई लोग.
ये होगी.
इतना ही तो था, और क्या था भाई? इतने बहुत हो गए.
Munaya is a
Munayaha. Okay. And there it is spoken about Anyacha Munayavadu. So that you have heard from different munis. That is explained there. And you have heard from Badarayana, Vyasadeva. You have received this knowledge from Badarayana. You have also received this knowledge from different munis. And that's why you can tell us nicely. You are Saumya, you are Snigdha, you are the one who is Aishamana, that you have received your long life because of this Dirghayusha. You are also Bhagwataha, that you are very much respectable, and then you can remove the doubts from our heart. These are the qualification of Sutta Goswami. This is one of the very important thing. Whenever we are going in front of our spiritual master, we should have some words to glorify him. And when we glorify such a ways, we can glorify a spiritual master. That's very important. Or you are in front of a spiritual master, you're about to hear, and you glorify your spiritual master with his special qualities. And when you glorify your spiritual master with his special qualities, it is very easy for us to absorb the knowledge or receive the knowledge. Otherwise, unfortunately, because of our challenging mood, we go on, either go with the Samshaya Atma Vinashati, that mentality, or we go and say that, prove me. And because of that, we are not able to understand. That the knowledge has to be received very submissively. And to have that submissiveness, this is the way we can approach. And this is what is seen. All the acharyas when they write books, all the acharyas when they, then there is this Mangalacharana prayers. In the Mangalacharana prayers, there are so many nice prayers offered to different acharyas or the Guru or, to Krishna, where the Mangal auspiciousness is also created. That's why it is called Mangala Acharana. Auspiciousness is created. And not only that, the person is approaching that particular scripture, that particular knowledge with great submissiveness. That's very important. So here, these Shonakadi Rishis are not only approaching Sutta Goswami to know just because they have some inquisitiveness, but they are approaching with a submissiveness so that they can wholeheartedly receive this knowledge and absorb this knowledge very nicely. Okay. Any question?
So, what were you saying regarding Mangalacharya right now? Like, can you just elaborate? I just cannot get it.
So every day we recite, before every class, or we recite these Mangalacharan prayers. So what is Mangalacharan prayers? The prayers are towards Krishna, towards Acharyas, towards Guru, towards different personalities who are present, the worshipable personality who are present. So by remembering these personalities, we are invoking auspiciousness around. And after invoking the auspiciousness around, it's very easy for us to receive the knowledge. That is one understanding. So that's a Mangala Acharan is that you are invoking auspiciousness. That is Mangala Acharan. So similarly, there are Mangala Acharan prayers written by different acharyas also in different ways. Like, some acharya is writing a book. So he writes few verses in the beginning, which are called as the Mangala Acharan prayers. Like in the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita, you see this, it begins with very nice prayers, which are offered to a spiritual master, like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, or different acharyas books. If you go and study, they have Mangalacharan prayers, by which there is auspiciousness created. Not only auspiciousness created, the person's heart is very soft to receive the knowledge, or to understand this knowledge, or to accept this knowledge particularly. And that's why Whenever we are approaching a spiritual master, this is one of the best qualification for disciple. Or this is how a disciple should approach a spiritual master with humility. That's what Dante Trunadhari, that he holds the straw in the teeth and very humbly goes and approaches, and that's how we can understand and receive this knowledge completely. Otherwise, if you are going with the challenging mood or if you are going with the whatever different varieties of mood, you will never receive a knowledge. Okay, so I was just saying that whenever you are approaching a spiritual master, this is the perfect mood which Sonakada Rishis are establishing. So daily we can do this, like explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasya aprasadat nagati kutopi. Without the mercy of a spiritual master, there is no gati. With our own endeavors, we cannot understand this holy scripture of Srimad Bhagavatam. Only with the mercy of a spiritual master, we can understand. Okay? In fact, these first three verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are also called as the Mangalacharan prayers. They talk about whom? They talk about Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They glorify Vyasadeva, that he is the one who has given this particular knowledge. And then they glorify Sukadeva Goswami, that from whose holy mouth this particular Srimad Bhagavatam has come. So these three special personalities are glorified, and then there is auspiciousness created, and that's how the study of Srimad Bhagavatam becomes auspicious or important. Okay, so let's stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Vrindavan Mahaprasad ki jai.
Jai, Jai.
Mahaprasad. So the online devotees, please smell, taste this nice son papdi.
Keep it for Sunday, bro. Bhakti Shastri will come. That time we distribute.
No, it's getting over now today. It was
You can
extremely-
arrange some sort of thing, bro. You can keep something.
there is nice dry fruit on the top of it. I'll keep that.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So everybody's fine. Everything is nice. Good.
Yeah, everything was nice.
Everything was nice.
At GV.
Acha, you went to JB. Okay.
Mm,
Everything was nice. Everything is nice, and everything will be nice.
yeah. Will be वगैरह तो नहीं. अभी फिलहाल अच्छा है.
Children of this Amala Purana, then only.
Yeah. So let's remain in present. Everything is nice. Will be nice का पता नहीं.
It will be
आपका
nice.
चेहरा दिखाए ना यश bro.
Okay. Oh, what happened?
जय जय.
Brahmachari.
Just pull back.
अरे अजय नाथ भाई आप हंस रहे हैं ऐसा इतना.
Ajay Nath. ठीक है.
Okay.
What is the time there?
Right